Hey expats, it's Josh with Expats Everywhere, and today I've got a great interview for you guys with Sarah Jane Hall. She's the founder of Bentley Rose Investments in the United Kingdom. She talks about how you can get started with your real estate investing portfolio. She also talks about the challenges of overseas investing, who should do it, and how her company or companies like hers can help you succeed. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello and welcome to Expats Everywhere. If you could tell us your name, where you're from, and a little about yourself.
Yeah, of course. My name's Sarah Hall. I grew up just outside of Birmingham in the UK. I moved back from Dubai earlier this year after living out there for the past 3.5 years. My husband and I, we now live in the beautiful Shropshire countryside.
It's really instilled in me from a young age, from my parents, the value of money and investing. My dad was excellent around the house at all of the DIY. So whether it be building an extension, fitting a kitchen, or painting a door, everything was always done to a really high standard. He's a real perfectionist. You would usually find me next to him, watching his every move intently, passing him his tools. So yeah, looking back, I think I was always destined to do what I'm doing today.
Well, tell us, how did you get this business idea for Bentley Rose Investments?
My corporate career actually started in banking. So I was working for one of the big banks over here, Lloyds TSB, and it was during my time there that I bought and renovated our first investment property. That was over 10 years ago. So we now own a portfolio of houses and apartments, which we will continue to grow. But to answer your question, it was during my time in Dubai that I really saw firsthand the struggles that expats and overseas investors face when trying to buy property in the UK. And that's for a number of reasons, and I'll go through some of those with you now. So one of them is the location. So when you're looking to buy an investment property, you really need to know your area inside and out, okay? So doing it from a distance can be difficult if you haven't grew up there, or you haven't got family or friends there. So things to consider: is it got good schools, good university, good transport links, good local amenities, and of course one of the most important things is there good high rental demand there. Other challenges that they face is you hear a lot of investors talk about the power team. And I think this is even more important as well when you're doing this from a distance. So you really need to make sure that you've got good experts in your team that are giving you the right advice, and they've got years of experience dealing with expats. So in that team, you'll have a solicitor, a mortgage broker to help you obtain the finance, a property finder like myself, estate agents, a good builder, a maintenance man that can, look after any problems that might arise with the property, and then of course a good letting agent as well, ready for when it's ready to rent. You've got somebody there that can help you fill the property and then manage it for you. By having that team around you, it will really make property investing as stress-free as possible. So also another one, which is just actually doing the viewings. It's not always a viable option to take a week out of the business to hop on a flight, come back over here and do a week of viewings. Even if you do that, it's not guaranteed that you will find a property that you want to buy, or if you make an offer, it's also not guaranteed that you will get that accepted. So you can waste money, and time doing that. So yeah, so really for me, I identified quite a few problems here, and I really sat back. I looked at the marketplace, looked at what my capabilities are and what my passions are, and then Bentley Rose Investments was formed. One of the biggest challenges is obtaining the right finance. The number of lenders is significantly reduced, and the interest rates can be considerably higher as well. I wouldn't let that put you off. There are options available. It really does depend on personal circumstances. I've got an exceptional mortgage advisor in my power team. He's got years of experience, and he's got particular expertise dealing with expats and overseas investors. So as I said before, if you've got the right team around you, they can really help you to push it through.
And how would you say that your time abroad shaped your business?
because of being an expat and I've been there, I fully appreciate the position that they're in and, struggling where to invest your hard-earned money. Also, I know a lot of expats that desperately want to move back home. They're paid really good salaries over there. You don't pay any tax, which is great. But they might want to move home to be closer to their parents. Maybe they want to educate their children in the UK, or maybe they just miss home and all that comes with that. So yeah, it's actually quite sad, the number of people that I know that do feel quite trapped there. So what I want to do is I want to help them to create a secure income from property that can either support or even replace their existing income.
I see. So what is unique about your business for expats?
I think, the fact that I've been an expat and I've been there, I've experienced the challenges. What we do, I work one-on-one with our investors. So it's very bespoke service and it's tailored to their requirements. So it's not just about the numbers. We're really getting to know the investor and finding out what their goals are and what they want to achieve and how property can help them to do that. What we're looking to do is to create long-term relationships with these investors, whatever part of the journey they're on with property, whether they're a newbie or whether they're experienced. We guide them through the whole process. So we act as a consultant from the very beginning to the end. So we give them access to our power team. We find the property, do the due diligence on it. We then oversee a refurb if required, and then we will hand it over to a letting agent. So it really is hands-free, and it's an end-to-end service that we aim to make as simple and straightforward as possible.
Could you tell us who should invest with Bentley Rose Investments? What types of people?
Yeah, from newbies to experienced investors, both can benefit from the service that we offer. I find that people's motivations tend to change depending on what stage of life they're in. So to give you an example, I've got a client over in Dubai and he's from the UK and he knows that he will be transferred back in the next couple of years. In doing that, he won't take a pay cut. However, when you're on as you'll probably know, when you're on an expat package, it does come with those benefits of, you may have your housing paid for and so on. So with him, when they move back, his wife is fortunate enough at the moment that she doesn't have to work. She looks after the children. She runs the family home. So their concern was moving back, she may have to go and work part-time or full-time. So we spoke at length about this, and what we have decided to do is to use property to create the cash flow so that when they move back to England, they'll have cash coming in from the property portfolio so she won't have to go to work. So that's one example. I mean, others that I have is completely the opposite. I've got clients that absolutely love their job, which is fantastic, and they've got no motivation to quit, but they want to plan for their retirement or build something for their children. And then I've got others that are looking for large-scale developments. So yeah, I mean, currently at the moment on our books, we've got investments from £50,000 up into the millions. So we either have something or we can find something that can meet the requirements of the investors.
I think you kind of answered my next question, which was going to be, what's kind of the minimum investment that someone needs to make when they're approaching Bentley Rose?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say around the 50,000 mark. It does depend on where you're looking to invest in the UK as well, because there are areas where you can pick up a property for £25,000, so it does depend on what your strategy is, and what kind of portfolio you want to create.
So if we're looking at that £25,000, is that $25,000 to purchase the property, or is that to purchase the property and all of the other fees that are associated and renos and all that?
Yeah, the £25,000, you could purchase the property, but you're going to need some more money then for the refurb. If a refurb is required, it depends. It may not need much doing to it.
Okay.
There will be legal fees that are involved as well, so you'll need to allocate some aside for the legal fees.
I see. And going back to your businesses for expats, is it only expats from the UK, or do you also work with people from other countries?
I'm also working with foreign investors as well, and local investors here in the UK. I'm working with lots of expats around the world.
I recently met a lovely couple in the States whilst I was on holiday over there. So yeah.
Great. This leads to the next question I think that a lot of people are going to be curious about is, will your business be affected by Brexit?
Yeah, this is an interesting question and one that I'm asked quite a lot. Many of the investors that I speak to over here are actually adopting a wait-and-see approach to Brexit, whereas overseas investors are actually doing the opposite, and they see the political situation as a massive opportunity.
Right.
So property here is offering great value at the moment due to the rare combination of falling prices, low interest rates, and the weaker pound. So with sterling being at a relative all-time low and many homeowners are desperate to sell, it really is a buyer's market for both expats and international buyers.
Brilliant. This leads right to the next question. So why would people choose the UK market over other international options?
The UK market has long been known for being a robust, secure market recognised for its stability. It's a small island with not enough homes for its existing population, so there's a real shortage of homes at the moment. It's quite a crisis here. So those that decide to invest and build buy-to-let portfolios are highly likely to generate a return from it due to the demand outweighing the supply. But also, the UK property is great because it not only offers rental returns, but also the potential of capital growth as well. So they do say that every 10 years, property prices double. That's not necessarily always true. However, if you look back at the last 5 to 10 years, it's certainly been on the rise.
So a lot of people think that London is like all of the UK and that's the only place where you can make money. But where do you recommend people invest in the UK?
Yeah, that's interesting and very true as well. I find that especially when I was over in the Middle East and I was doing a lot of traveling across Asia, it's common that people don't think there's anywhere else in England apart from just London.
Right.
There's lots that's been happening, lots of regeneration that's been happening across the UK in the big cities. So Birmingham is the second biggest city outside of London, and this is where I am today. I'm looking at the skyline at the moment, and there is cranes everywhere. There is so much building work going on. Not just Birmingham though, Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds. There's lots happening across the country, and because it's so expensive to live in London, lots of those people are moving outside of the capital as well, which is helping with the rental yields and the demand.
Why should an expat investor invest with Bentley Rose?
I have over 10 years experience in the property industry, growing my own portfolio. I've also been an expat, so I've experienced the challenges that they're facing. So I fully appreciate, where they are. And also, I have this amazing power team around me, so I can really make the process very hands-off, very simple and straightforward.
Perfect. Before we wrap up, could you tell us what the expat life has meant to you?
Yeah, I will always be forever grateful for the experience and the opportunities that living in the Middle East has given to me. I met so many interesting people, travelled to lots of destinations and experienced new cultures. It gave me the idea for my business, something that I'm so passionate about. Being able to help others to create wealth through property is so rewarding. That you hear a lot of people talking about finding your passion, and for the first time in my working life, I can say that I have. I absolutely love working on my business. I get to work with some amazing people, and it really is just the beginning. I think what living abroad also showed me is that the world really is a small place, and for growth-minded business owners, the world really is your oyster.
Sarah, this has been fantastic. Really appreciate you coming on our show and talking to us about your investment strategies and what your expat business is all about. If people are interested in learning more about you, how can they get a hold of you?
Thank you for having me on, Josh. I really appreciate it. I absolutely love what you're doing with your channel. Thank you for having me. And to get hold of me on social media, on LinkedIn, it's Sarah Jane Hall. And on Instagram, it's Sarah_Jane_Hall. My email address is sarah@BentleyRoseInvestments.com. and I would absolutely love to hear from you all. So if you've got any questions on property, I'm absolutely obsessed with it, so please do get in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again. Have an awesome day.
You too. Thanks, Josh.